Ahead of his win in South Carolina, former President Trump spoke at the Black Conservative Federation annual gala on Friday. And here is some of what he told the audience.
These lights are so bright in my eyes that I can't see too many people out there. But I can only see the black ones. I can't see any white ones, you see? That's how far I've come. That's how far I've come. I got indicted for nothing, for something that is nothing. They were doing it because it's election interference. And then I got indicted a second time, and a third time, and a fourth time. And a lot of people said that that's why the black people like me, because they have been hurt so badly and discriminated against. And they actually viewed me as I'm being discriminated against. It's been pretty amazing. I'm being indicted for you, the American people. I'm being indicted for you, the black population. The mugshot, we've all seen the mugshot. And you know who embraced it more than anybody else? The black population. It's incredible. You see black people walking around with my mugshot. You know, they do shirts and they sell them for $19 a piece. It's pretty amazing. Millions, by the way, millions of these things have been sold.
Yeah, so, Rev, yeah.
My God.
Curious, Rev. I don't know. I mean, I suppose we could do a poll of black Americans and ask whether they are more likely to support somebody because they stole nuclear secrets from the White House, they stole secret war plans against Iran, they lied to the FBI about having those nuclear secrets and secret war plans, lied to the FBI and the Justice Department about having classified documents hidden in their beachfront resort. I mean, maybe black Americans relate to that. I don't know. I wouldn't think they would. Do they relate to Trump telling his IT director to destroy all the evidence? And now the IT director testifying against him, or to maintenance people to flood the room where the IT department is to destroy all. I just don't know. Boy, it does seem like a stretch, doesn't it, Rev, to think that Donald Trump doing all of that and illegally paying off a porn star, according to the Manhattan DA, and trying to foment a riot on January the 6th. I'm not so sure, Rev. Help me understand. Why would black Americans relate to Donald Trump there? I don't understand the connection.
Well, first of all, let's be clear. Donald Trump is using the stereotype of blacks being criminals, and therefore we would gravitate towards somebody in a mugshot. He's in a mugshot for trying to interfere with an election. Blacks were arrested to get the right to vote. That's what the marches were about. It is the epitome of an insult also when you think of the fact that it is a black man that is prosecuting him in Manhattan, Alvin Bragg, a black woman in Georgia, a black woman, the New York State Attorney General Letitia James. So he's saying that black people would relate to someone indicted for trying to undermine the elections by blacks, but we would go with him rather than them. The other part of this that is so amazing is Donald Trump himself has been part of these kinds of unfair prosecutions of blacks. It was he that took out ads in newspapers calling for the death penalty of 5 young black and brown boys of raping a white woman in Central Park who went to jail falsely. It was later proven they didn't do it because of DNA. Donald Trump said no, punish them anyway. So all of a sudden, I've been in this movement for 40, 50 years. I've never seen him stand up for blacks that were treated wrong by the criminal justice system. But now he's a symbol of being persecuted. He's being persecuted by black prosecutors, a black woman judge in the federal court in Washington, D.C., and any shameless blacks that are standing there applauding him needs to check the facts.
Well, and Mika, he is also making racist comments against Letitia James, against Fonnie Willis, against those prosecutors that happen to be people of color, just because they're black. I guess he didn't. Maybe they didn't fit that into his speech.
Listen, first it was Navalny, and now it's the African-American community. These comparisons are sick and grotesque. Biden-Harris campaign co-chair, former Congressman Cedric Richmond, responded in a statement, quote, Donald Trump claiming that black Americans will support him because of his criminal charges is insulting, it's moronic, and it's just plain racist. He thinks black voters are so uninformed that we won't see through his shameless pandering. He has another thing coming. So, John Heilman, then there's Tim Scott. I don't know. It's very, on the Republican side, the Trump acolytes, those that just stay with him through anything, it's beyond hard to watch. How do you think the overall black community will respond to this? Remember his comments the first time around. What do you have to lose?
I mean, honestly, Mika, I don't think most black voters are paying attention to the race at this point, and I don't think they're going to respond to this in particular in any way. But I would say that if you think about, the things that people talk about as being correctly, think about what are the concerns that the Biden campaign has going into a general election against Donald Trump. It's not so much these head-to-head polls. It's that they've seen their support among certain core constituencies slip, including non-white voters, dramatically. And at the core of that is a lot of black voters. And the Biden campaign comes back and says, hey, wait until the race is clear that Donald Trump is the nominee. When we get to the fall, and it's this binary choice between the two, the African-American community in America is going to remember that Donald Trump is an existential threat, and they are going to come home to us. We have a lot of work to do, but they're going to come home. These kinds of comments, not these comments specifically, but the fact that Donald Trump will make this kind of comment. He's made these kind of comments for years, as Reb points out. He will make them into the future because this is who Donald Trump is. I only see black faces. Look at how far I've come. Ha, ha, ha. That is the kind of thing that Trump will say, has been saying it for a long time, will keep saying it, and that is why the Biden campaign is right. They have at least something to cling to there when they say, hey, when people start to focus on this race, our core constituencies will come back because they'll remember who Donald Trump is, and he'll be in front of them showing them who he is day after day after day. This is kind of a preview of the kind of thing they're counting on in the fall to bring African-American voters back to Joe Biden with the kind of intensity they had back in 2016 back in 2020.
Yeah, a Trump advisor told me and made this same argument that the indictments would make black voters go for Trump, that the mugshot would make black voters go for Trump. Went on to add that the new line of Trump sneakers would appeal to black voters and would make them go on to Trump, which, of course, we can all leave that aside, just how grossly offensive that is. So, Matt Lewis, let's just
especially with those sneakers.
Well, yeah, it also insults
my God, they're just the worst.
Matt Lewis, let's give you the final word here on this particular moment. It's true. Hyman's right, and that the Republicans and Trump in particular think they've made inroads with black voters, although he may have just hurt himself with these comments. It is an area of concern for Democrats. They know they have to work hard to get them back, and their constituencies are saying, hey, don't take us for granted. How do you see this dynamic playing out as November approaches?
Well, to me, what's so interesting about this is, first of all, this is almost trickled down, right? So, like, Donald Trump didn't come up with the bogus "I'm Navalny," even though he unveiled it at CPAC last week. He didn't come up with that. That came from Dinesh D'Souza, Lee Zeldin. Similarly, this racist notion that the mugshot would make Trump popular with African Americans, that's like a year and a half old. I think it came from like Dinesh D'Souza and Laura Loomer, kind of fringe right-wing activist types. Trump then, at some point, it gets to him. And, there's an old expression in politics, hang a lantern on your problem. How do you make a mugshot into a positive? How do you make the fact that you've been supporting Putin for all of these years and his opposition leader was just poisoned, or not, he was poisoned, then went to jail, died in jail? How do you put a happy face on that if you're Donald Trump? Their ability to come up with these bizarrely devious, in some cases almost evil, brilliant, but also entirely flawed, obviously, and bogus excuses is pretty unparalleled. I can't believe the audacity of doing it. Some of them I think are better than others, but I imagine that there's someone out there in middle America right now who's not paying that close of attention to politics, who now thinks, oh, yeah, Trump is just like Navalny. He's the victim.
Right.
He's casting himself as the victim once again. If nothing else, it's impressive that he keeps trying.
If it makes you feel any better, I have already put evac on alert. He's ready to go if it comes to that. General, I can assure you.
Hey, General, let me into the war room to see you, so I had to hack my way onto this frequency.
This better be critical, Wheelie.
Sir, come on, what is it now, please? Okay, couple of things. I'm running low on the dough. I was thinking about taking a couple of months sick leave, maybe starting today. And, oh yeah, I intercepted a transmission from Megatron.
Then send it through.
Yes, sir, right away, sir. And so I'll assume that we're good on the other stuff.
This is your last warning, insects. Relinquish what remains of the Allspark.
So who's the insect? You? What? Who's the insect?
Protect you. They were defeated on our world, and we will defeat them here.
This was just a diversion. Security, please bring him up. Ravage, he's already inside. Deeds! Give me an update on that reserve. Boss readiness. What was his name? What was it?
Evac, sir.
Right, evac.
She's right in front.
We are facing a heavy, sustained attack. They appear to be after the Allspark. General! General!